Trump says China's Xi to visit US toward the end of the year. Czech Prime Minister in favor of social media ban for under-15s. SpaceX prioritizes lunar, self-growing city over Mars project. Musk. Hong Kong tycoon Jimmy Lai sentenced to 20 years in jail in national security trial. Japan's Iron Lady Takaichi forges stunning election win. US President Donald Trump has said he plans to host Chinese President Xi Jinping at the White House later this year, as the world's two largest economies seek to stabilize relations strained by a prolonged trade war. Trump made the remarks in an interview with NBC News, recorded on Wednesday, the same day the two leaders held a wide-ranging phone call covering trade, Taiwan, Russia's war in Ukraine, and the situation in Iran. Trump is expected to visit China in April, ahead of Xi's planned trip to the United States toward the end of the year. "These are the two most powerful countries in the world, and we have a very good relationship," Trump said. Since returning to office a year ago, Trump has imposed a series of tariffs, including sector-specific levies on steel, automobiles, and other goods, as part of a broader push to reshape US trade policy. While Washington and Beijing clashed sharply last year, the two sides later reached a broad truce following a major escalation. Despite US efforts to reduce reliance on Chinese manufacturing, the two economies remain closely linked. Xi, who last visited the United States in 2023, warned Trump during their call to act with caution on arms sales to Taiwan, which China claims as its territory. He also expressed hope that bilateral issues, including trade, could be resolved amicably. Czech Prime Minister Andrej Babiš said on Sunday he supports banning children under the age of 15 from using social media, as more European governments consider tighter restrictions to protect young users. In a video message posted on his social media accounts, Babiš said experts had warned him that social media can be highly harmful to children and stressed the need for stronger safeguards. He did not provide details on how a ban would be implemented. Later, Deputy Prime Minister Karel Havlíček said the government was seriously considering proposing such a ban. He told CNN Prima News that if the cabinet proceeds, legislation could be introduced later this year. The debate reflects a broader shift across Europe. Spain and Greece proposed similar restrictions last week, while Britain is considering a ban modeled on Australia, which in December became the first country to prohibit social media use for children under 16. France is also moving ahead with legislation to bar children under 15 from social media platforms. The proposals come amid growing concern among governments and regulators worldwide about the impact of excessive screen time on children's mental health and development, and criticism that some platforms are designed to be addictive. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk said on Sunday that SpaceX has shifted its main focus to building a, quote, self-growing city on the moon, a goal he said could be achieved in less than 10 years. In a post on his social media platform X, Musk said SpaceX still plans to begin developing a city on Mars within 5 to 7 years, but that establishing a permanent presence on the moon has become the higher priority, as it can be accomplished more quickly. His comments follow a report by the Wall Street Journal that SpaceX has told investors it will prioritize lunar missions, including an uncrewed moon landing targeted for March 2027, while pushing back timelines for Mars. The shift comes as the United States faces growing competition from China to return astronauts to the moon this decade. Humans last walked on the lunar surface during the Apollo 17 mission in 1972. Musk also recently announced that SpaceX acquired xAI, another company he leads, in a deal valuing SpaceX at about $1 trillion. Supporters say the move could strengthen SpaceX's plans to develop space-based data centers to support the rapidly growing demand for artificial intelligence computing. SpaceX is reportedly considering a public stock offering later this year that could raise as much as $50 billion, potentially making it the largest initial public offering ever. Hong Kong media tycoon Jimmy Lai has been sentenced to a total of 20 years in prison after being convicted on national security charges, including 2 counts of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces and 1 count of publishing seditious materials. The ruling concludes Hong Kong's most high-profile national security case, nearly 5 years after Lai was first arrested in August 2020. He was convicted last year following a prolonged trial. The court said the 78-year-old was the mastermind and driving force behind the offenses, placing his sentence within the most serious penalty range under Hong Kong's national security law, which allows sentences of up to life imprisonment. Lai, the founder of the now-defunct Apple Daily, has denied all charges and described himself as a political prisoner. A British citizen, he has long been a vocal critic of Beijing. The case has drawn international condemnation, including criticism from US President Donald Trump and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and has renewed scrutiny of Hong Kong's national security crackdown following the 2019 pro-democracy protests. Press freedom and human rights groups said the sentence marks a major blow to media freedom in the China-ruled city. The Committee to Protect Journalism said the ruling underscores the collapse of press freedoms in Hong Kong. Japanese Prime Minister Sunai Takaichi has led her coalition to a historic election victory, clearing the way for proposed tax cuts and increased military spending aimed at countering China. Projections show Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party winning up to 328 of the 465 seats in the lower house of parliament. The party crossed the 233-seat majority threshold less than 2 hours after polls closed, putting it on track for one of its strongest results ever. Together with coalition partner Japan Innovation Party, also known as Ishin, Takaichi's bloc is set to secure a 2/3 supermajority. This would allow the government to override the upper house and advance its legislative agenda more easily. Speaking as results came in, Takaichi said voters had backed major shifts in economic, fiscal, and security policy, despite significant opposition. She said her government would move forward with determination. The 64-year-old leader called the rare winter snap election to capitalize on strong approval ratings since taking over the long-ruling LDP late last year. Her direct style has appealed to voters, but her nationalist views and security focus have strained ties with China, while her pledge to suspend the 8% sales tax on food has unsettled financial markets.